Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you haven't done so already. Now, this week's going to be a short week. Thursday is Thanksgiving. We have that day off. And the next day, Friday, is half a day, so the market will close at 1. As far as the economic calendar, not much going on this week. We got some Fed speakers Tuesday afternoon. Some economic data in the morning, unemployment claims, flash services, new home sales, consumer sentiment. Then we have FOMC at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. No Jerome Powell, so there's no press conference. It's just a rehash of the FOMC minutes. But lately, they have been the best movers lately because usually, especially this week with being a low volume week, and typically Thanksgiving is a bullish week over the last years. So we could see some strong manipulation this week because sometimes the market on low volume likes to sneak up on people and do something crazy when no one's looking. So we could see something to that effect on FOMC on Wednesday. So let's just we'll play it as we normally do, and I'm sure that the prices will be low and cheap, and we'll be able to get close to at the money, and that's when you end up having the best moves on FOMC. Because last time I think I played it, they were like I had to play like a 100 point spread, and when you're playing that, yeah, you still make some good money, but not like you would if you were like 1 or 2 strikes out from at the money, and you can triple those pretty easily. So I think we're going to get some movement on this FOMC. But with that said, there's not much stocks I'm going to look at. I'm going to keep it simple this week because it's a short week, low volume week. I don't think much is going to happen except for probably on Wednesday. So like I said, Thanksgiving is typically bullish, but I'd like to point out the fact that put to call ratio is very, very low. Everyone's on the call side. I mean, it's at 0.61. It was at, let's see, 0.54 last week, so it can go lower. So even the SPY doesn't even have to drop. I mean, it can just stay in channel and have a small range day, and it will cool off the put the call ratio. So, but like I said, typically it is a bullish week for Thanksgiving. So looking at the VIX, I got VIX up right now, and it did have a pop last week, then it kind of dropped, but we're back down to the 23 level. And we get a little bit of a gap down here underneath 22. I don't know if it will fill or not. Maybe it will if the market is strong this week. And VIX has been acting very funny. Even when the market's dumping, it doesn't really pop, and the VIX has been reacting very, very strange lately. So I wouldn't put too much emphasis in the VIX right now because it's just been acting kind of weird. But we do have the gap right here, but I think that eventually we're going to end up seeing it hit the $30, just a matter of when, probably next week. So I'm thinking maybe we have a bullish week this week, and then next week we after Thanksgiving's over with, we're going to have a dump or something. So we'll have to see what happens. Now we'll get SPY back up. Well, not back up, but the first time it's up. SPY, it's right in the channel. It's back in the channel. It popped over it, and then it came back in. It had a down day, and then it popped back up, recovered. We'll have to see what it does. 400's been a tough area for it to get over. Anytime it does get over, it ends up getting slammed down. So maybe it does this week. Just because it's traditionally been a bullish week for Thanksgiving does not mean that it's going to be this week, because anything can happen. So we're still in this channel right here. If it gets over 400 and actually closes and stays over, we could see it push to 405, maybe even to 410. But if it doesn't break out and it comes back underneath the 394, 393 level, We got gap right down here underneath the 387 to 385. 380 is the bottom of this trend line, which has been holding so far. It did dip underneath it right here, but it quickly came back up. And right here, it's been holding. So, and the fact that the RCT trend line and the trend line are meeting right here at 380, that's going to be a pretty strong area. If it does dump, that might be a good area for a bounce at 380. So, just take it by day and see what happens, and just play what the market gives us. So I'm not going to try to forecast what it's going to do, because it's kind of hard to figure out right now because of a show week, low volume week, and put the call ratio is very low. So a lot of people are on the call side, but yeah, it typically is a bullish week. So we'll have to see how it plays out. So with that said, where's my list right here? Meta. Now, Meta, it had a nice little bounce. Didn't quite fill the gap right here, but if it does manage to get over, we'll say Friday's high of 115, or even you can say 114.50, pushed it to 120. It gets over this 120 area, probably is going to make a run for the gap fill out to the 125, 126 area. So we'll have to watch for that. If it does manage to get over that 120, it could try to finish the gap fill up here on Meta. So that's one thing to watch. Microsoft is another one. It had a red day on Friday, but I'm looking at it. It's in a flag. It has a nice little run up. It's in a flag. Plus, you kind of get like an inverted head and shoulders. You get the left, you get the head and the right shoulder right here. If it gets over this 248 level, 246, push to 250, and it gets over 250. With 250, it's going to be kind of hard to break, but if the market's strong, it could break that, get 255, 260 on Microsoft. Got a gap fill up here at 265. So lots of gap fills, even up here at 285, but don't want to get ahead of ourselves, and I think it'll probably end up being a pump and dump week. So pumps for the week, and then we dump next week. So, but who knows? We'll have to see what happens. But Microsoft, that's what I'm looking at on that. Tesla, thing I'm looking at with Tesla is the weekly. I mean, it's been holding this 183 level, but it kind of broke below it a little bit to 180. It actually went down to 176. So if the market is weak for some unknown reason, the next big area on Tesla is going to be this 150 area. So if it does break this low from Friday's low, it's got kind of open, clean air down here to drop down to 165, then 150, 155, 150. So Tesla could end up making a dump right here. But I also like to point out that it's got a bullish divergence going on that you can see right here in the hourly. The RSI is rising as it's making lower lows, not much lower, but a little bit, enough to see it. And same on the daily. So, but also massive head and shoulders, left head, right shoulder. I mean, technically the neckline would be right around the 185 level, right where it is right now, close to it. So 150 is definitely possible in the cards on Tesla. So Amazon, one thing I want to point out about Amazon is the Black Friday sales, and we have Cyber Monday sales. So we could have a strong Friday, or maybe we have a strong week with Amazon anticipation for strong sales for Cyber Monday and Black Friday. So definitely keep an eye on that. Over, let's say 95 for a push to 100, and 100, got 105. We got gap resistance right here, but if Amazon's got any strength behind it, we could definitely see a possible gap fill to 110 if we can get some momentum behind Amazon. So usually Amazon in the past will run up into Black Friday and Cyber Monday. We'll have to see if that actually does happen this time or not, or if something else happens. The last one is BA. It had a nice little run. It is flagging right here, so bull flag right here, but it's underneath this trend line. You can see the weekly trend line right here. So I would watch it underneath 171 for a push down to the 160, 167.65 area, 166 area, and then you get 160, 165, yeah, 66, 65, 160, and you get 155. Basically every $5, 150. So it does have room to drop. How much it will drop, I don't know. I mean, the RCT trend line on the weekly, daily, I mean, is at 155. So it gets underneath this 170. It could definitely end up dropping down to the 155 area. So definitely keep an eye on that, because whenever price gets away from it, like it does here, it eventually comes back and retests it, gets away, retests. It takes time. So we'll have to see what happens. So that's going to do it for the watch list. Going to keep it simple. Like I said, short week, low volume. A lot of manipulation could go on. We also have daily expiration on SPY and SPX. The market has changed just on that alone. So it could be a crazy week. So we'll just have to play by ear and trade what the market gives us. And that's why you need to be in the room. We'll make our adjustments pre-market. So that's going to do it. And thanks for watching.